Okay, everyone raise up your hand. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Allahumma taf alaina hikmataka wa shu alaina min hazaini rahmatika ya arhaman rahimin. Rabbi sahli sadri wa yassir li amri wahlu uddata min lisani yafqahu qawli. Amin ya rabbal alamin. Amin.
To protect ourselves from COVID-19 pandemic.
Okay. Teacher, are you late? Teacher?
Teacher, you are late. You are late.
I suggest that you can just continue read the doa.
Doa wabak.
Yes.
Okay. Bismillah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Yadu wasu'i sya'un fi alli wala fi samahi wa wasamihu alim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Yadu wasu'i sya'un fi alli wala fi samahi wa wasamihu alim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Yadu wasu'i sya'un fi alli wala fi samahi wa wasamihu alim. Allahumma inni a'udzubika min barasi wal jununi wal juzani wa min syarril asqam. Alhamdulillah.
Okay, Alright, thank you. Well done. Okay. Just now teacher saw someone in the chat. For Kahoot, usually teacher will use Kahoot for revision session. Let's say if we already done with that topic. So
Teacher, tak buka.
So when teacher want to do revision, teacher want to check your understanding, I will use Kahoot. But for now, since we just started topic properties of light, okay, from the activity that I have given to you, teacher can see that many of you still got confused between the opaque and transparent. For the activity in Singapore, the one that teacher gave to you that day, okay, about the cup A, B, and C. The question asks you about clearest shadow. Question asks you about clearest shadow, not clearest object. Last time teacher gave to you, we have class on Thursday or Friday that day. My internet is quite bad today. I'm not sure. Not even raining. I'm so sorry if, let's say, if teacher lag or if I suddenly lost my internet connection. Don't worry, teacher will get back to you as soon as possible. Okay. Alright. One. Clarity of shadow. Okay. Shadow clarity of an object. The question is shadow. The question is asking you about shadow. We'll move on to the next subtopic. This kind of question wrong, all right, you're going to have big problem. You need for you to understand the next one better. For our so seesaw, check your seesaw. If teacher wrote correction for you, make sure you I will just help look who haven't done
Teacher lag.
activity. Like and
Teacher, you are late.
going to have a lot of work to do.
I don't hear you.
And one. Am I still like
Yes. Yes. And teacher left and join back. I think.
Okay.
Still lagging.
Leave the call. I cannot even leave the call. Astaghfirullah.
Okay, it's okay. Oh yeah, not lag.
Okay. Hopefully, after this, I'm not lagging anymore because I'm so sorry. My connection is quite bad these few days. Okay.
It's just still lagging. Teacher, can you change the internet?
Okay. Um. Let's see if teacher Astagfirullah. Teacher suddenly lost connection back to you as soon as possible. Okay. Right. So now, can you show your thumbs up if you can see my screen? Can you show thumbs up? You see? Okay. So for those who haven't done the activity in Seesaw, make sure you do later. Make sure you do later. Then for those who already done and got your answer wrong, please do revision. Please
I
do revision.
already, I redo.
Zara Sophia already done.
Jadi,
Okay.
lihat chat
Huh?
my.
If you haven't done, please do. Okay, for those who already done, check your answer. Okay, check your answer. For example, that day Ryan, he got his answer wrong. Then when teacher correct him, he right away do another one. This one is good attitude because you are willing to learn. You learn if you got it wrong. Okay, make sure you change right away. When teacher asks you to change, you change right away. Don't wait. Okay, don't wait until 1 week. It's okay lah, I'll do later. It's okay lah, I'll do later. Next week, teacher already moved to the next subtopic. Okay. Alright, thank you for those students who already done the work that teacher asked you to do. Well done. Alright. If you don't know how to find the activities, go to activities page, click calendar. Click calendar,
Calendar.
alright? Click the calendar, then you can click here. 6 August. So you will see this activity that teacher uploaded on 6 August. Many of you haven't done yet. So if you want to help yourself, do the activity. Okay, do the activity so that you can help your own self. There's nothing teacher can do if you don't want to do the activity. Yes, Arayan?
Nak minum.
Let me know. Okay, you can go drink water. Okay, so today
Thank
we are
you.
going to continue with you're welcome. New subtopic today. Okay, new subtopic. That day we already learned about how shadow is formed. How shadow is formed. Can you write the answer in the chat box for teacher? How shadow is formed? Write the answer in the chat box. How shadow is formed? How shadow is formed? Write the answer in the chat box. How shadow is formed? Naufal answer shadow is formed by light, touch, and object. Okay, what object? What object? We have three type of object: transparent, translucent, and opaque. Which one? Opaque. Naufal. Right. In from light. If you answer from light only, teacher will give you mark. Answer me in correct sentence. In full.
Teacher, dah
Complete.
adik. Adik.
Koyim, Amal said when light can get past opaque object, Amal will get full mark. Amal and Alpha get full mark. Okay. This is how you should answer when teacher asks you how shadow is formed. When the source of light cannot pass through an opaque object. Amir answer. Wait, Koyim answer opaque. Khalif answer opaque. I know Sumaya answer opaque. Adam Ryan, when the light get blocked by an opaque object. Adam Ryan, full mark as well. When the shadow is from opaque. When the shadow is from opaque. When the light is blocked by an opaque object, Amir. Hafiz Hamid answer opaque. Araya, what do I miss? Teacher ask you to answer me. What if teacher ask you how shadow is formed? How shadow is formed? Okay, Amir Shazwan, shadow is formed when light is blocked by an opaque object. Good job. This one is accurate answer, full mark as well. When the light touch an opaque. When the light is blocked by an opaque object. Okay. Asif, opaque object is blocking the light. Okay, full mark. When the light is blocked by an opaque object. Okay, Zara, full mark. When the light touch an opaque object. Touch correct because light move in straight line, right? So it will touch the opaque object. Then the shadow will be formed because why? Because the opaque object actually block the light. That's why teacher would prefer if you change the touch to block. Okay, blocked by opaque object. Shadow form when the light blocked by an opaque object. Correct, Idina Sophia, full mark as well. Okay, so by today, teacher hope all of you already memorize. Okay, memorize. You have to remember how shadow is formed. How shadow is formed, you have to memorize. When the light blocked by an opaque object, correct. Araya, when the light blocked by an opaque object, correct. That's how you answer. Don't just answer when the by the source or by an opaque object. By what? Answer in full sentence. Okay. Then only teacher can give you full marks. If you answer half halfway of the sentence, then teacher can only give you half marks. All right. Answer me in full sentence so that I can give you full marks. Okay. So for today, right, we are going to continue with still topic properties of light, right? But we are going to continue to the next subtopic. Next subtopic. That day, many of you still got confused between clear shadow and clear object. Clear object is transparent object, sayang. Transparent object, clear object. When the question asks you about clear shadow means the shadow is black. To make sure the shadow is black, right? The source of light must be blocked by what? Transparent, translucent, or opaque?
Opaque.
Opaque. Opaque object. Remember, that day when teacher check your worksheet, but thank you for doing your worksheet so that teacher can check your understanding. Okay? Teacher can assess your understanding. That's why teacher ask you to do the worksheet. Alright? So to make sure you have clear shadow, the source of light must be blocked by an opaque object. This one, opaque object. Then only the clear shadow will be formed. That day, this one. That day Safia asked teacher, what are the differences between thick paper, tracing paper, and plastic sheet? Okay, so all these three material, the differences of them are the thickness. Okay, thickness. Thickness. So When we use thick paper such as manila card that you use to do your project, manila card or cardboard that have a thick, okay, that made up from thick paper, thick material, the shadow that will be formed is very clear. Why? Because they are opaque object. So remember when the question asks you about clear shadow means like this, very clear, black in color and very clear. Okay, this one for plastic sheet, we didn't call this as clear shadow. This one, this is not clear shadow. This one is clear shadow. Don't get confused, eh? Yes, who raised up your hand?
Teacher,
Hmm.
tracing paper and thick paper, it almost look the same because I don't know which one is uh, clear shadow because they're both almost clear shadows. I cannot
Both of these almost clear shadow. The tracing paper
guess.
and the thick paper, right?
Yes.
But if you wait, teacher zoom cannot zoom. Okay. This one, that's why it's very important for each experiment they label the materials. They label the materials. For thick paper, you already know that manila card, right? For tracing paper, teacher already show you how it looks like in real life before. Okay, so tracing paper is made up from translucent material. So you already know translucent material, okay, the shadow that will be formed, sometimes they will produce clear shadow as well. But for opaque object, right, opaque object produce the clearest shadow. Opaque object produce the clearest shadow. That's why sometimes if you couldn't get the information from from the diagram, okay, you can also use the knowledge that you already learn. That's why it's very important for you to know and to understand each of the subtopic because they are related to each other. They are very related to each other. Okay, this one. This one teacher already asked you before in class, clearest shadow. So you already answer me Manila card. But why during another type of question, teacher ask you cup that have opaque cup, okay, translucent and also transparent. Why you answer transparent cup? Transparent cup is not an opaque object. Next time, read the question properly. If the question asks you about clearest shadow, find opaque object. Okay? This one. This one is the opaque object. Some of you answer this one, transparent. And you answer because the light can pass through, all the light can pass through. All the light can pass through, correct. But if all the light can pass through, are they going to produce clear shadow? No, right? Because
No.
clear shadow will be formed when blocked by an opaque object, which is light cannot pass through. Uh, this one. For those who haven't done the activity, please do it. I'm not sure why some of you, since the first starting of our class until now, you haven't done the activity. If you're having problem in joining the student seesaw, you can tell teacher, don't just sit there and relax without doing anything. Okay, so today we are going to continue with factors that affecting the size of shadow. Okay, factors that affecting the size of shadow. We're going to look at the size first. Size of shadow. So the first one, okay, this is the first one, the distance of an object from the light source. Okay, from the light source, this one is the light source. So the distance of object, the distance of object. Okay, distance of object. Right. So next one, the size of object. The size of object will affect the size of shadow as well. Okay, so this one you have to remember as well. Later we are going to look at the shape of shadow. So make sure you don't get confused between those two. Okay, and the size. The size The distance of an object will affect the size of the shadow form. Same goes to the size of object, right? For example, this one is the first experiment to see the size of shadow form on this screen. Okay, so now we have ball. Okay, ball. In order to make sure you have correct variables, okay, correct variables, hypothesis, right, for the investigation, right, we want to study the size of shadow, the size of shadow. So from this experiment, what is manipulated variable? What is our MV here? Can anyone tell teacher what is our MV here in this experiment? Manipulated variable. The variable that we can change.
The object, please.
The object. I'm giving you the clue. What is it? What is the different thing? What we can change in this experiment?
Source. The source. Distance.
Then from
From the ball.
The size.
Teacher lag. But teacher can hear.
of object from the source of
Light.
the source of what?
Light.
The source of light. Good job, everyone. Thank you. Okay, the distance of object from the light source. What is RV responding variable? What we can observe after we change the distance of the object from the light? What we can observe? What will produce on the screen? What we can observe?
The distance.
Yeah, we want to do experiment about what?
Size.
The size of what?
Size of shadow.
Size of shadow. Size of shadow. Excuse my writing, because I'm writing with this. Okay. Size of shadow. What is our constant variable? What is the same thing throughout this experiment?
The object.
The object. Okay. The what? The size ke, the shape ke? What? The ball. What is the same thing about the ball?
The size.
The size of object. The size of object. Okay, so in the experiment, make sure you identify the variables first so that it's easier for you to do hypothesis, to do the conclusion. Okay. So how to identify the variables? You observe the diagram that they give to you. For example, when you first get the diagram just now, okay, you see what is the differences. Oh, the size is.
Can you close the chat box?
Why? Is there someone chatting in the chat box?
Yes.
Because
The joy the way down.
Okay, so when you first get the diagram about an experiment, make sure you observe the diagram. Okay, observe the diagram. How to find the manipulated variable? You see what we can change in the experiment. For now, we can change the distance of this object from the light source. This one, the distance is closer. This one, the distance is further from the light source. Yes, further from the light source. Okay, so you need to know that when the object is closer to the light source, the shadow that form on the screen is bigger. Look at the level of the umbra. Umbra, if the shaded region, this black shaded region is what we call umbra. The shaded region, the shadow form because it's blocked by an opaque object. This ball is an opaque object. That's why shadow is formed. Okay, this is the size. This is the size of shadow form on the screen. If we move the light source further from the object, okay, we move the light source further, look at the size of object form. Bigger or smaller? Bigger or smaller?
Bigger.
If we
Bigger.
move the if we move the light source away,
Smaller.
big,
Smaller.
big, smaller, or smaller. Okay. When the light source is close to an object, the shadow that will be formed is big. Okay. If we move the light source further from the object, the shadow that will be formed will become smaller. This one you have to remember. If closer, shadow bigger, larger, bigger or larger, same thing. If you move the light source further, the shadow will become smaller. Okay, this one. For example, this one, large shadow.
A teddy bear.
This one is the largest shadow. Why? Because light source is closer to the object. Look at the distance between light source and also object. So this one we can produce large shadow. This one we have smaller shadow. Okay, smaller shadow. Smaller compared to this one. Why? Because we move the light source further. Look at the distance. This one slightly further compared to the first one. I have a tiny shadow, very small one, smaller compared to the first and second one. Why? Because now the light source and the shadow are far from each other. Look at the differences between the distance of these three pictures, okay? And also the shadow that will be formed. So, yes. So if you move the light source closer to the shadow that will be formed
What
is
if you move
bigger.
the light source super close?
If you close the
Like
light source, if you close the light source,
super close, super close.
super close. If you super close, this one, if you put the light source closer to the object, if you move further, what will happen, Zara? If you move closer, what will happen?
Bigger.
Yes, it will become bigger. Okay, so now all of you, can you open your practical book? Practical book, the size practical book, the blue book. If you don't have practical book, use Satan book or any writing book that you have with you. Okay, do not write in paper. If you write in paper, later you will lose them. Have you prepared your practical book? Anyone want to go to toilet or drink water? You can go. Okay. Now,
Teacher, can I have my breakfast?
yes, no problem. Okay, now we are going to do this one in our practical book. All right. We are going to do more experiment exercise because this topic require lots of experiment. So it's okay even if we couldn't do the experiment together, as long as you have the report in your book, then it's easier for you to do revision. All of you already prepare your book? All of you already prepare your book?
Eating. Already prepare my book.
Okay. Alright, if you're eating, later teacher will upload this slide in Seesaw. Or for those who haven't had enough time to do in Seesaw later, teacher will upload this, okay? Teacher will upload this. But as for now, we're going to draw the diagram first. I will draw together with you. Don't worry. Write day and date in your book first. Day and date. Write day and date in your book.
Teacher, is it practical book?
Yes, practical book, the blue one. The long book. That one for report and also notes. Okay,
Teacher, we have to do what? Write date and day. Dad. Dad.
the experiment. Astaghfirullahalazim. Internet
Teacher, just now you are late.
just now.
Now you are late also.
Mm. Your ruler with you. If you have ruler,
Teacher, are
if
you
you
late?
have ruler,
Teacher, just now you are late.
okay. Since we are going to draw,
Lag.
okay, right there.
Done. Teacher, can you change the internet?
Today, experiment.
Teacher, you are lagging. You are late. Can you change the internet? You are lagging and I may ask you to change the internet. What?
Can you hear teacher?
Now yes. Yes. Sekarang teacher dah macam dah okey, Tapi blur sikit. Tapi blur sikit.
My screen, you can see or not? My screen. Can see or not? The one that I'm
Yes.
sharing.
Boleh. Teacher, wait. We have to write the title because just now you are late.
It's a bit blurry.
Experiment 5.1.3.
Done.
Done. Okay. So teacher want you to take
Oh, no,
the
no.
ruler. We're
Done.
going to sketch. we are going to sketch diagram, all right? We're going to sketch diagram about factors that affecting the size shadow. Today we are looking at the size of shadow first, okay? So now, first one, okay, do straight. Oh wait, you can do straight line. Do straight line first. Draw the straight line.
Teacher, do we have to write something like after we draw this, we have to write something?
Yes, you have to write the aim of the experiment, the variables later.
Okay, I want to save a lot of space.
Okay. Why the okay, straight line, right? Then after straight line, today individual self learning you're going to spend with teacher, your individual self learning, because this is new subtopic, so we're going to do together as usual. Okay, so your light source, it's up to you. Your light source, how you want to draw your torchlight. Okay, your light source, draw your light source at the end of the straight line just now. Your light source. After that, make like this. So label with A. This one label with B. This one label with C. Label with D. Label with E. E, okay. Then last part, draw the screen. At the end of this straight line, draw the screen.
Teacher, we have to draw A, B, C, D, E. Then we draw like a wall.
Yes. Okay, now why we draw A B C D until E? Just
Because
now,
we want to
because we want to.
put the object
At the different what? Different
different length.
different distance. This one, the light source. If we put object here, okay, so the light source, the distance of the light source and the object at A is closer to each other. If we move further to B, the distance is slightly further. Then we move to C, we move to D, we move to E. Why we do different distance? To investigate about what? To investigate about what?
To investigate about shadow,
What shadow? The shape, the size?
the size of
Yes,
the
correct. The size of the shadow, well done. Okay. So after you're done drawing, we're going to write the aim of our experiment. The aim of our experiment, the aim must be to investigate what? To investigate the distance. The distance, to investigate the relationship. Relationship between what with what? Yeah, so move this one. Okay. Okay, everyone. Sorry for a while. You can continue it for. Okay, right first to investigate the relationship between what? The distance of what? The distance of object. The distance of object from what? From what? This one, torchlight. From what? What do we
From
call it?
point from
From
point A to point E.
from the source of light. Jaden. Jaden, prepare your practical book. Jaden, prepare your practical book.
Okay, teacher.
Hmm.
Teacher, between the distance of object from the source of light to E.
And its effect on the what? And the size of
Object.
shadow form.
Shadow.
Shadow sayang, shadow form. So the aim of this experiment, why this experiment is conducted? Because we want to investigate what is the relationship, okay? What is the relationship between distance of object from the source of light? That's why we have different distance. A, B, C, D, E. That's why we have different distance because we want to investigate, right? The distance of object from the source of light. This one is our source of light. Source of light. It doesn't matter what kind of lamp that Allah. What kind of lamp that you are using, as long as it can emit light, so we call them as source of light. Darwish will done. Okay, Darwish. Darwish. Darwish, are you there? Darwish, prepare your practical book, Darwish.
Darwish main Roblox.
Darwish, do you have your practical book with you? Later, teacher will ask you guys to send this in Seesaw. I want to see your report in Seesaw later. All of you will have to send me your report. So make sure all of you do this one together with teacher.
Darwish was playing Roblox.
How did you know he's playing Roblox? How did you know?
I see in the website.
So while joining the science class, you guys are opening the Roblox website.
Yes.
Why?
But not playing.
Do we have science game in the Roblox?
No.
Nope.
Then?
Wait, yeah.
Darwish Wildan, do you have your book with you, the science practical book? Now do this one in your science practical book.
Okay.
Okay. Later, all of you will have to send this report to teacher in Seesaw. So if you didn't send to teacher, I will assume that you didn't do together while we are doing this. Yes, who raised up your hand?
It's me.
Yes.
The tuition, my chapter is already 4. It's chapter 6.
Because your tuition doesn't have holiday, your tuition doesn't have assessment like the school did.
No, we just like have some holiday. Like we just have some done class because we have some replacement. Have some replacement class.
Okay, if you're joining tuition or anything outside from the school, is different from the arrangement and syllabus that we learn in school. So don't worry. Okay, don't worry. I know what I'm doing. Okay. So your tuition teacher and teacher Diha is different person. So don't worry. I know what I'm doing. So the syllabus the syllabus that I'm teaching you now, I take time because I want to teach you according to your understanding. Teacher don't want Teacher don't want to just teach you without you understanding anything. Today, we supposed to have two subtopic. We supposed to have two subtopic. But from my question just now, when teacher asked me question, okay, some of you still confused between the shadow form, how shadow is formed, how if you do not know how shadow is formed, okay, teacher continue to the next one. But don't worry, I know what I'm doing. Don't worry, okay? So if your tuition syllabus and my syllabus is different, it shouldn't be a big problem because your tuition teacher and teacher Dihan is two different person, not the same person. So we have different space as well. Okay, so for the hypothesis, anyone can give teacher good hypothesis from this experiment? Hypothesis, teacher already teach you before this, how to do hypothesis. The aim we already done. How about hypothesis? Hypothesis, already learn about this topic in your tuition, right? Can you give teacher hypothesis?
I don't know about that. I'm not learning about that. I don't remember.
No, in science class, in tuition or in school, we already learn about hypothesis. How to make hypothesis? You already at topic 6, right? Subtopic 6. Subtopic 6. So you far ahead of our school syllabus. How to make hypothesis?
I don't remember. I don't remember this something. Let me just think.
Okay, now all of you copy the hypothesis. When distance of what? When the distance of
Light.
Object.
object, correct?
light.
Good job. Object from what? From what?
The light.
Light.
Source. Let's say teacher want to say increase. Increase. Increase become more or less? Increase.
More.
Increase become more. Let's say at first, teacher will draw in blue first. At first, my object is here. You can draw your object. Let's say my object at first at the A, okay? At the A. So teacher will increase the distance. Increase the distance, teacher will move to C. So now the distance between the object and the light source decrease or increase?
Increase.
Increase. Increase, correct. Well done. Increase because it's further from the light source. So hypothesis, all right, basically we want to type relationship. Okay, relationship between the variables, between manipulated and responding variables. Okay, so when the distance of object from the light source increase, what will happen to the size of shadow that form on the screen?
Getting bigger. The
Look.
size of the shadow become bigger.
Look at the distance properly. Further, object with the light source further, the shadow is smaller or bigger?
Bigger.
Distance further lagi jauh ke dekat? Further. Faris, teacher can hear right answer from Faris just now. Small.
No, teacher need Naufal lah.
Naufal. Tak, before Naufal tadi ada Faris kan? Ke bukan?
Tak ada.
Tak ada. Okay. When the distance of object from the light source increase. Distance increase lagi dekat lagi jauh. Distance increase.
Jauh.
Far. So when the object and light source far from each other, shadow that will be formed, the size of shadow that will be formed, bigger or smaller? Smaller. So when smaller, we call it as the size of shadow increase or decrease.
Decrease.
Decrease. Good job. That's how you should do it. Okay. Don't get confused between the manipulated variable. That's why you have to read properly. Teacher cannot add S here. Okay. Ya Allah, ya Allah.
Teacher, we have to put S at what? At which one?
Here, increases. Okay. This one is the hypothesis. This one is the hypothesis. In last assessment, teacher include the question, how do we test hypothesis? Anyone remember how do we test hypothesis? How we want to test? Do experiment, correct, Amir. Well done. We do experiment. It's okay, even though we couldn't do this one together, the experiment together. Right? We will discuss based on the report. Okay, so the report later teacher will ask you to send to teacher in the seesaw. When the distance of object, this one object, at first we put at the A. Then we move further, far from the light source, okay? Far from the light source. So remember, when object is far from the light source, the shadow that will be formed is smaller. The size of shadow will decrease. The size of shadow will decrease. Why decrease? Smaller. Smaller, so decrease. Okay. So this one, teacher use increase. Means far from the light source. Object far from the light source. So the size of shadow form decrease. What if teacher put decrease here? When the distance of object from the light source decrease. If decrease, what will happen? Decreases. What will happen to the size of shadow? If the distance between object and light source decrease, what will happen to the shadow?
The shadow becomes smaller.
Decrease, sayang. Decrease. Lagi dekat. Object and the light source decrease.
Bigger.
Yes, correct. The shadow form will increase, bigger. The size of the shadow form will increase, bigger. For hypothesis, that's how you do it. Okay. You change between the manipulated variable and responding. So this one, if we change, all the other sentence is the same. It's just that you change between increases, decreases. Okay. If you're done with the hypothesis, start teacher. Done. Hypothesis done. Done.
Teacher, do we have to copy what you
Done.
Done.
Not
Okay, this one.
yet.
Okay, do first. Today we're going to do antivariables only. Today we're going to do antivariables only. Teacher, because teacher cannot write below. This one is not like A4 paper. Teacher cannot write below. So I will write here at the side. But you guys write below, write below of hypothesis for the variables. Okay? Like how you did the report before this in our physical class. Write below. Teacher will write at the side because I don't have space. Is there someone just joined? Zara Sophia. Zara Sophia. Haira Anwar. Zara Sophia, now we are doing report. Please prepare your practical book. Zara Sophia. Zara Sophia, do you have your science practical book? Aim already done, right? Teacher will. Okay. Now we're going to do the variables. Okay, today we're going to do until variables only. Next one, we're going to continue in next class.
You mean tomorrow?
Yeah, correct. Okay, variables. Variables, how many variables do we have? Primary 4, Abu Bakar and Umar. 3, good job. So the first one will be manipulated variable. Can you give manipulated variable to teacher? What is manipulated variable in this experiment? What? What is it? The manipulated variable. If you want to type in the chat box, teacher will open the chat box. Teacher open the chat box. Wait, you can type in the chat box as well.
Teacher, I want to see. Yes.
What
Things
is
that we can
manipulated? Things that we can change. What we can change in this experiment, my dear? Can change.
Teacher,
What?
teacher. Decrease
Ah.
atas, yang atas increase tu, decrease tu kita kena terus buat ke teacher?
Tulislah. Tulislah so that you know if we change to decrease, what will happen to the shade 2. Manipulated variable, everyone. No one can give teacher manipulated variable. Now first just now things that we can change. What we can change in this experiment?
The distance.
The distance, correct. The distance of the object. From what? The distance
From the
of
light.
object from the
Light.
light source. Look, we have different distance, right? So if we have different distance, we can change them. We can change the distance. So we want to find the manipulated variable. Manipulated variable is things that we can change in the experiment. So what we can change? The distance of object. The distance of object from what? From the light source. Aim to investigate between MV and RV, responding and manipulated variable and responding variable. So if we have aim, means we already got our variable supposedly. So relationship between distance of object from the light source. Distance from object from the light source, we already know. This one is our MV or RV, distance of object. MV or RV, manipulated or responding? Hello? Are you guys there?
Yes.
Yes.
Akif Razin?
Teacher, I cannot see your screen.
Akif Razin, can Akif Razin give teacher manipulated variable from this sentence from the aim? Can Akif Razin identify the MV for teacher? Which one the MV? Akif Razin.
Dance is kind of loud.
Amal, what is the MV, Amal? Amal, MV from this from aim, what is MV? Amal, your microphone is not working. Still not working.
Teacher, BM. Teacher, yesterday kan?
Yesterday boleh duduk tu BM.
Amal. Your MV, Amal. What is the MV? MV, manipulated variable. What is the MV in this experiment? Teacher can see you chatting in the chat box just now. So answer teacher faster. Manipulated variable. Astaghfirullahalazim. We already have it here. Naufal, what is the MV? Okay, Arayan, what is the MV?
On the size of light.
Distance of object. Okay, Naufal already answer. Arayan answer RV, Arayan responding mana? Responding dia.
Respond variable dia.
Which one? Responding.
Respond.
Responding already have here, Arayan. Arayan already have at the aim. You tinggal choose
Aim
je
dia.
which one. What
Okay.
is responding what we can observe. So in this experiment, what we can observe
size
on the
of
screen? The size
The
of
size of shadow.
the size of shadow form. Correct. Good job, Arayan. The size of shadow form. Because the size of shadow we can observe the shadow form. So that one is the responding variable. Everyone underline at your aim, then write MV and the RV. Size of shadow form is the RV. What is RV? R responding, V is variable. What is our constant variable? Constant, the things that we didn't change in the experiment.
The object.
The object, the what teacher said just now, object, the what? The what?
The size of the object.
Correct, Hasif, good job. You can use the shaker as long as it's the same one, you didn't change throughout the experiment. The size or the shape of the object used, Okay, this one is constant. Why we say constant? Because throughout the experiment, we didn't change the size of the ball or the shape of the ball. We are using the same one throughout the experiment. That's why we can take that as our constant verb. This point, primary 4, actually, when you look at experiment, when you look at any experiment, you're supposed to know how to identify the manipulated variable, responding, and constant variable right away. So you need to master how to identify MV are constant. Okay.
Teacher Zara Sofia tanya, we must to do all. Tak tahu dia nak buat apa.
We must to do all.
Ni ada tulisan dalam
Yang teacher buat.
This one. Yelah, teacher ask you to underline just now. Underline the MV and RV. Underline then the source of light. Underline MV. Then the effect, the size of the shadow form is the RV.
Teacher, where's RV to? Where's the RV?
Teacher will stop recording for a while. Wait, later teacher will show you the screen again. Wait for a while.
Okay.
Yes, Nafa. Nafa, raise up your hand. Do you have any